Hello, my name is Laurence Dalston, and I would like to talk to you guys about this little project that I did using Sketchup Pro. Let's go ahead and get started. The goal of my project was to, the goal of a lot of my projects is to decide whether I would be interested in something like that in the future. So, of course, this is one of my goals in this project in particularly, because it's pretty interesting, like architecture and stuff like that is very interesting to me. So that's kind of what I wanted to test out. Also, when doing projects like this, sometimes I completely lose motivation because I realize I'm not doing anything that does anything. So I did something useful. So I ended up to create a scale model of my house as if someone were to tour it, like a virtual tour. I think this could be useful if somebody overseas wanted to tour a house that they were going to buy, something like that. So I thought that was going to be another way to motivate me. The tech that I used a set of tutorials that are right here. Um, these were very good tutorials, I think, and I would like to direct you to them instead of telling you anything about them, telling you anything about how to do all this stuff in depth. I would just like you to direct you to this guy. He's very helpful and stuff like that. Um, I learned how to use SketchUp and a lot about making decisions in that environment, which is in the environment of like exactly how wide is a doorway, how tall is a counter, how tall is a seat, stuff like that. I thought that was a lot of interesting things and problem solving. So to go along with this tech, I want to show you some of the screenshots that I took. This is what I would start out with. I would start out with the exact dimensions, how thick a wall is, how wide and how long it was, and then have a basic layout plan, which is another way of kind of thinking in a different way, is laying out a plan in front of you and then building it up from there, as seen here. Then, I use all the different kinds of tools in this, like the measuring tape tool and the expanding tool and all box tool, line tool, all stuff like that help me do stuff like this. And then I moved on to stuff like this, which was interior stuff. This is a closet, and this is a bathroom. Kind of not very detailed. See, this is the toilet, and this is the sink. It's not very detailed, but that's really supposed to be, in my mind, it's supposed to be kind of like what somebody can imagine. You can imagine a toilet being here and a sink being here, this being a closet and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I did, and I had to learn all of the different kinds of tools to use and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I have mastered technology-wise in this project. Um, of course, with every project there comes a plan, and this was a 4-week project. So my plan was to slowly progress through the 4 weeks and watch the tutorials and do the stuff that I needed to do to my project. But of course, that never really works out, especially for me. I ended up skipping a week or something like that. But one thing that really helped me, and I think will help you guys if you think about it a little bit more, is what I did was, instead of always waiting for a time to just where I am free, where I can have extra time to do this project, I set aside time to make sure that I would get it done. And I think that was really helpful for me overall, and I think it could be helpful for you too. Anyway, that's one thing that I learned in this project process. The results, unfortunately, um, free my free subscription or whatever to SketchUp expired. So I just have this stuff to show you guys, which I didn't take very good screenshots of all of my work. It's just kind of, this was just kind of to show how I developed stuff vaguely. But I did a lot more detail in the first floor, which is this one. You don't see as much, and this is the basement. But there was a lot of sinks and a lot of stuff like that, and a lot of bathrooms, beds, desks, and then like office areas that took a lot more, not exactly thought, but a lot more doing. It's a little bit more impressive over there. But what I ended up with was what I think is a practical way to understand the layout of the house without it being there or just seeing it on a piece of paper, you know. This is really something that I feel like could be useful, and I really like that. So this is the result of the project. I think that if I really wanted to, I could simplify it down and 3D print it, but I don't think that's something that's going, well, it would be a very small 3D print, but I don't think that's going to be something that is quite that possible. Anyway, moving on to the next slide here. This is kind of me reviewing how overall did the project go. I realized that I don't really like this kind of work because it's a lot of menial tasks. I don't really like that, and also it's me by myself on my computer when really I want to do stuff with other people. I want to be talking to somebody about something. I want to have conversations and debates or whatever, stuff like that. So it's not really my thing, but I think other people might really like it. I learned that setting aside a specific time to work is something that it seems really easy, but it's something that I haven't really done. So it's something that I can do in the future that can help me out. I learned stuff about architecture, like as I mentioned before, the width of doors and stuff like that, and some problem-solving skills, like when stuff didn't line up the way you wanted it to, and you had to change something, and that had to change something else and stuff like that. How to use SketchUp, which I feel like I can, if I were to actually get the program, I could use in like a whole bunch of different areas if I really wanted to. And about how certain processes make you make more decisions and think in different ways, like how if I thought about how I would do the house, how I would lay out the house if I was doing it for the first time instead of following a set of plans. And I thought that was really interesting. In fact, I think that would be better for me than just following some plans, is to be able to like creatively come up with a completely new way to build a house or something like that. So overall, I think it was a good experience, but not something that I'd want to do again. If I could redo the project, I would probably, instead of, going with that, do it whenever it's convenient for me. In the beginning, I would immediately say, like day one, I would say, well, for this hour, I'm going to work on this project or something like that. And I think that would have really helped me just spend more time, not exactly more time with it, but more time spread out over time. So I would have like thinking time in between or something like that. My favorite part of the project was seeing my house in a new and interesting way. That really is interesting to me, to be able to see that new perspective of the thing that I see every day. Very interesting. My most successful moment was looking at the project and seeing not only my house, but how this could be an actually useful product if I were to ever sell the house or something. Anyway, that's just kind of what I got out of this project and thought you guys might want to know about. Thank you for listening and stuff like that. Smell you later.